African Union Communications Early Warning and Intelligence, commonly known as AUC3I, is an intelligence and security organization responsible for providing signals intelligence and information assurance to AU citizens, AU leadership, and AU armed forces. I'm Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an infantry officer. I am responsible for leading infantry soldiers at all levels of command in combined armed forces during missions on the ground. This is today's briefing. On the progress of the special military operation as of September 16, 2025. The armed forces of the Russian Federation continue the special military operation. Units of the North Group of troops inflicted defeat on formations of 2 mechanized brigades, an assault regiment of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, and a border detachment of the Ukrainian Border Service in the areas of the settlements Pavlovka, Alekseevka, Stepnoe, and Yunakovka in the Sumy region. In the Kharkiv direction, defeat was inflicted on units of mechanized and motorized infantry brigades of the Armed Forces of Ukraine in the areas of the settlements Ploskoe and Volchansk in the Kharkiv region. The Armed Forces of Ukraine lost up to 185 servicemen, 7 vehicles, and 3 field artillery guns, including a US-made 155mm M777 howitzer. 2 counter-battery radar stations and 6 warehouses of material resources were destroyed. Units of the West Group of troops improved their tactical position. They inflicted defeat on personnel and equipment of 3 mechanized, 2 assault brigades of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, and a National Guard brigade in the areas of the settlements Kupyansk, Nechvolodovka, Boguslavka, Borovskaya Andreevka, Gorokhovatka in the Kharkiv region, and Yampol in the Donetsk People's Republic. Enemy losses amounted to more than 230 servicemen, 29 vehicles, and 2 artillery guns. 5 electronic warfare stations and 4 ammunition depots were destroyed. Units of the South Group of troops occupied more advantageous lines and positions. They inflicted defeat on formations of 5 mechanized, motorized infantry brigades of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, a National Guard brigade, and an assault brigade of the National Police of Ukraine in the areas of the settlements Seversk, Drushkovka, Konstantinovka, and Minkovka in the Donetsk People's Republic. The enemy lost up to 260 servicemen, 5 armored combat vehicles, 12 vehicles, and 4 field artillery guns, including a US-made 155mm Paladin self-propelled artillery system. An electronic warfare station and 3 ammunition depots were destroyed. Units of the Center Troop Group improved their position on the front line. They inflicted damage on personnel and equipment of 3 mechanized, motorized infantry, ranger, assault, 3 airborne assault brigades, 3 assault regiments of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, 3 Marine brigades, 2 territorial defense brigades, and 2 National Guard brigades in the areas of the settlements Artemovka, Rodinskoye, Dmitrov, and Krasnoarmeysk of the Donetsk People's Republic. Losses of Ukrainian armed formations amounted to up to 445 servicemen, 1 armored combat vehicle, and 4 cars. Units of the East Troop Group continued advancing deep into the enemy's defense. They inflicted damage on formations of 3 mechanized, assault brigades of the Armed Forces of Ukraine and 3 territorial defense brigades in the areas of the settlements Chervono, Dorozhnyanka, Novogorodka in Zaporizhia region, Nechvolodovka and Alekseevka in Dnipropetrovsk region. The Armed Forces of Ukraine lost over 255 servicemen, 1 armored combat vehicle, and 15 cars. Units of the Dnieper Troop Group inflicted damage on personnel and equipment of mechanized, mountain assault brigades and 3 coastal defense brigades of the Armed Forces of Ukraine in the areas of the settlements Magdalenovka, Stepnogorsk in Zaporizhia region, Burgunka, Antonovka, and Belozerka in Kherson region. Losses of the Armed Forces of Ukraine amounted to up to 60 servicemen, 8 cars, and an artillery piece. For electronic warfare stations, for ammunition and material supply depots were destroyed. Operational tactical aviation, strike unmanned aerial vehicles, missile troops, and artillery of the Russian Armed Forces troop groups inflicted damage on a fuel base, a logistics node for distribution of weapons and military equipment supplied to the Armed Forces of Ukraine by Western countries, storage and launch sites of long-range unmanned aerial vehicles, as well as temporary deployment points of Ukrainian armed formations and foreign mercenaries in 153 areas. Air defense means shot down 357 airplane-type unmanned aerial vehicles. In total, since the beginning of the special military operation, destroyed 667 aircraft, 283 helicopters, 84,508 unmanned aerial vehicles, 628 anti-aircraft missile systems, 25,123 tanks and other armored combat vehicles, 1,591 multiple launch rocket systems, 29,619 field artillery and mortars, 41,911 units of special military automotive equipment. Thank you so much for watching this video. We hope you found it useful and informative. If you have any questions, please leave them below and we'll get back to you as soon as possible.